Okay, hello everyone. We are continuing with motivation and emotion, and we left off working on module 8.1 in terms of looking at motivation and the whys of behavior.
Psychosocial needs are the social side of our motivation, the part that connects our drive to the people and relationships around us. They include wanting to belong, being accepted, forming friendships, and feeling respected. Basically, they're about how we relate to others and how those relationships shape what we want out of life. One of the best known psychosocial needs is the need for achievement, that inner push to do well, meet goals, and feel capable. Psychologists have studied this for decades and found that it starts forming early in childhood. Parents and early caregivers play a significant role here. When they encourage effort, celebrate small wins, and allow kids to learn from failure, they help build that healthy drive to achieve. Now, let's talk about what fuels achievement motivation. There are two primary sources. Extrinsic motivation. This is when you're motivated by external rewards like money, praise, good grades, or recognition. For example, studying hard because you want to earn a scholarship or impress your boss. Intrinsic motivation. This comes from inside you. You do something because it feels satisfying or meaningful. Think of finishing a project just because you love seeing your ideas come to life. A blend of both drives most people. You might start something for an external reason, like getting an A, but along the way discover the joy and pride of mastering it. And that's when motivation becomes robust and self-sustaining. Let's discuss the push and pull of motivation. Success versus failure. When we face a challenge, like taking a tough exam, applying for a dream job, or presenting in class, two different forces often pull us in opposite directions. Achievement motivation is the desire to succeed. It's the voice that says, "Go for it, you've got this." This motivation pushes us to take on challenges, try new things, and take risk, even though there's a chance we might fail. The reward is the possibility of success, growth, and pride in our accomplishments. Avoidance motivation is the desire to avoid failure. It's the voice that whispers, "What if you mess up? Maybe just skip it." This type of motivation helps protect our self-esteem and reduce anxiety, but it can also hold us back. When we avoid challenges, we might stay safe, but we miss out on opportunities to learn and succeed. In real life, these two motivations often battle it out inside us. The key is learning to balance them, to use achievement motivation as fuel to move forward while keeping avoidance motivation in check so it doesn't block your progress. The hierarchy of needs, climbing the motivation mountain. Humanistic psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that all humans are motivated by a series of needs, kind of like climbing a ladder or a pyramid. He called this model the hierarchy of needs because some needs have to be met before we can focus on others. Maslow suggested that we start with our most basic needs, things that keep us alive and safe, and then move upward toward more complex psychological and personal growth needs. Here's how the 5 levels work. Physiological needs. These are our basic survival needs: food, water, sleep, air, and shelter. Without these, nothing else really matters. Safety needs. Once our basic needs are met, we want to feel safe and secure, physically, financially, and emotionally. This includes having stable housing, health, and protection from harm. Love and belongingness needs. Next, we crave connection. We want to feel loved, accepted, and part of a group, whether that's family, friends, or community. Humans are social creatures, and relationships fuel our emotional health. Esteem needs. After we feel connected, we want to feel valued. This includes self-respect, confidence, recognition, and a sense of accomplishment. We want to know our efforts matter. Self-actualization. At the top of the pyramid is the need to become your best self. This means realizing your full potential, growing, creating, and living with purpose. It's about doing what makes your life feel meaningful and authentic. Maslow believed that when our lower level needs are met, we can focus our energy on higher levels, ultimately striving to become the most fulfilled version of ourselves. So, looking beyond the pyramid, let's take a moment to rethink Maslow's hierarchy. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a great starting point for understanding human motivation. It just makes sense that we'd focus on food before philosophy, right? But as researchers and life experience have shown, our needs don't always follow such a neat step-by-step order. Think about it. Have you ever chased a dream or pursued a creative goal even when your life felt a little chaotic? Or spent your last few dollars to see a friend because connection mattered more than comfort? Real life is messy, and so are our motivations. Sometimes higher needs, like belonging or creativity, drive us just as strongly as our basic ones. Another limitation of Maslow's model is that one behavior can satisfy more than one need at once. Take going to college, for example. You're meeting physiological needs. You get food from the cafeteria. Seeking safety, building a career path for future stability. Finding belongingness, making friends and joining clubs. Building esteem, earning grades, recognition, confidence. And moving towards self-actualization, discovering who you truly are. That's a lot packed into one experience. Proof that motivation doesn't fit neatly into a single box. Later in his career, Maslow expanded his theory to include even higher levels of human motivation, like cognitive needs, the desire to know, learn, and understand. Aesthetic needs, appreciating beauty and harmony. And self-transcendence, focusing on helping others or connecting to something greater than yourself. So even with its flaws, Maslow's model remains powerful because it reminds us that human beings are driven by both basic survival and higher aspirations. We're not just trying to get by. We're also trying to grow, connect, and create meaning.
Now we're moving into 8.2, and we'll discuss hunger and eating and what motivation has to do with it.
Why we get hungry, the biology behind motivation. Hunger isn't just about having an empty stomach. It's your body's way of saying, hey, I need fuel to keep this machine running. Our biological systems are constantly working to keep us in balance, a state called homeostasis. When something's off, like when your blood sugar drops, your body sends signals to motivate you to fix it. In this case, eat something. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. The brain's role. Hypothalamus. Deep inside your brain, the hypothalamus acts like a control center. It keeps tabs on your body's energy levels. When your blood sugar gets low or your stomach is empty, it sends hunger signals. When you've eaten enough, it sends full signals to tell you to stop. Hormones in action. Several hormones help regulate hunger and fullness. Ghrelin, the I'm hungry hormone, released when your stomach is empty. Leptin, the I'm full hormone, released from fat cells to tell your brain to slow down the snacking. Insulin helps regulate blood sugar, influencing when we feel hungry or satisfied. Energy motivation. Hunger isn't just a physical sensation, it's a biological motivator. Your body creates that uncomfortable feeling to drive behavior, in this case, to go find food. Motivation pushes you to act, to get up, make a sandwich, or hunt down a vending machine. The pleasure factor. It's not only about survival. Eating can also be rewarding. The brain's dopamine system lights up when we eat something tasty, reinforcing the behavior and motivating us to seek out that pleasure again, which is why it's hard to stop at one cookie. In short, hunger is both biological and motivational. Your body cues the need, your brain interprets it, and motivation kicks in to help you satisfy it. Together, they keep you alive, energized, and hopefully balanced until the next craving strikes. Calories in, calories out, the balancing act of body weight. Let's talk about energy balance, the relationship between the calories we take in from food and drinks and the calories we burn through activity and body functions. Think of your body like a bank account. Calories in are your deposits, what you eat and drink. Calories out are your withdrawals, what you burn through movement and metabolism. When those two sides are in balance, your body weight tends to stay the same. But when there's an imbalance, when we consume more calories than we burn, the extra energy doesn't just disappear. The body stores it, mainly as fat, for later use. Except that later often never comes. Over time, those small surpluses add up, leading to weight gain. Why so many Americans are gaining weight? Today, more Americans are overweight or obese than ever before. Not because we suddenly became lazier or greedier, but because our environment makes it so easy to overeat and undermove. Let's break it down. Ready access to high-calorie foods. Fast food, vending machines, giant portion sizes, sugary drinks. We live in a calorie-rich, nutrient-poor world. Food is cheap, available 24/7, and engineered to taste irresistible. The mystery of metabolism, the science behind our body weight. Your body is like a car. Even when it's parked, the engine's still running. That's your basal metabolic rate, BMR, the rate at which your body burns calories to keep you alive. Breathing, circulating blood, repairing cells, all of that takes energy, even when you're binge watching Netflix and not moving a muscle. Now here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone's engine runs at the same speed. Genetics play a big role in how fast or slow our metabolism burns fuel. Some people's bodies are super efficient and burn calories quickly, while others burn them more slowly, meaning more unused calories can get stored as fat. It's not about willpower alone. Biology is in the driver's seat too. The set point theory, your body's preferred weight. Psychologists and biologists have proposed something called the set point theory. Think of it like your body's internal thermostat for weight. According to this idea, your brain, especially the hypothalamus, has a genetically influenced set point, a range of body weight it tries to maintain. When you gain weight, your brain may respond by increasing your metabolism to burn more calories. But when you lose weight, your brain can slow your metabolism down, as if it's saying, hey, we're running low on energy. Let's hold on to these calories. That's why it's often hard to lose weight and even harder to keep it off. Your body is wired for survival, not beach season. The big picture. A mix of biology, behavior, and environment shapes body weight. Yes, eating habits and exercise matter, but your metabolic rate and genetic blueprint also influence how your body manages energy. Understanding this balance helps explain why one-size-fits-all diet plans rarely work, and why self-compassion and sustainable habits are key to long-term health.
So besides looking at the biological factors, we also have to look at factors that may contribute to obesity or being overweight. Uh, Behavioral factors like larger portions that we might eat, or eating until we feel stuffed. And for example, last night I made spare ribs and they were so good. But I just wasn't satisfied. It was like I wanted more and I wanted more. You get the understanding. But I only ate those two. And then I ate fruit. And that's how I satisfied that craving. But we tend to overeat. Then we have environmental factors like exposure to food advertisements, like where I talked about the other day, how we might be attracted to McDonald's or one of our favorite restaurants, and that's a contributing factor. Then, as we mentioned previously, our emotions play a big factor in terms of when we're upset or angry or afraid, we might be depressed. Then it may lead to overeating, binging, so to speak. For a long time, Mississippi was the #1 state for obesity. We had ranked #1. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still in the top 5, but I think we're like listed at #3. Anyway, part of the reason we've dropped is because actually people have been starting to try to take better care of themselves. And there are several ways we can watch and try to move toward healthier weight. We might watch our fat intake. Again, try to control how much we're eating, eat right portions. Slow down. Do you know most times we eat and we will just chew maybe 2, 3 times and swallow? No, we shouldn't be doing that. Growing up, my mother used to make us chew at least 25 times before we were allowed to swallow our food. Don't ask me why we stopped, but we do. So count your bites. If you could get to 25, you're doing great before you swallow. Because here it is, you'll be able to digest it better if it's broken down more. But you don't digest it as well if it's still in big chunks. Make sense? Also, we have to be aware that there's always hidden calories. You know how they'll say something is sugar free, and then if you look at the label, there's sugar alcohol? Okay, then that means there's still sugar and there's still high calories. So you got to be able to look for those hidden calories. Then we got to move. We don't move, and I'm guilty of it. I've been overweight just about my entire life, but the more seasoned I get, the heavier I've gotten. And why is that? Because I don't move enough. Outside of work, you can barely get me to walk anywhere. I jump in the car. Excuse me. But while I'm at work, I do at least, and I'm proud of myself on that, because I do at least a mile a day every day that I'm at work. So that's how I stay mobile, working. But that's one of the things that we have to learn how to improve for ourselves. Most times we're sitting down, we're watching TV, we're, playing our video games, and that's not enough movement. So to help get to a healthier weight, we have to include physical activity and not make it exercise, but make it a lifestyle change, something that you want to do. That's been difficult for me, but I'm just saying I know the importance of it still.
Anorexia nervosa is a serious eating disorder that involves an intense fear of gaining weight and a distorted body image, meaning the person often sees themselves as overweight even when they are dangerously underweight. People with anorexia severely limit how much they eat, sometimes to the point of starvation. They may also exercise excessively, use diet pills, or engage in other behaviors to lose or control weight. What makes anorexia especially complex is that it's not just about food. It's deeply tied to emotions, self-esteem, and control. At its core, anorexia is often a way of coping with feelings of anxiety, low self-worth, or a need to feel in control when other parts of life feel overwhelming. Losing weight can feel like an achievement or a source of stability, even though it's physically harmful. People struggling with anorexia usually set unrealistic standards of perfection for themselves and may have a hard time seeing their body accurately, even when friends and family are deeply concerned. Because the body isn't getting enough nutrients, anorexia can be life-threatening. It can cause extreme weight loss and fatigue, brittle hair and nails, heart problems, and low blood pressure. Hormonal changes, such as loss of menstrual cycle, dizziness, fainting, and even organ failure in severe cases. The good news: recovery is possible. Treatment usually involves a team approach: medical care, nutritional counseling, and psychotherapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy and family-based therapy are common, helping individuals rebuild a healthier relationship with food, body image, and self-worth. Recovery takes time, but with the right support, healing is absolutely possible. Early intervention makes a big difference. Now you are about to see a clip from the Netflix series To the Bone. It's about a girl battling with anorexia nervosa.
All right, ready? $2.80 for the pork, $3.50 for the buttered noodles, $1.50 for the roll, and $75 for butter.
It's like you have calorie Asperger's.
That's not breakfast. Neither is coffee.
You do a lot of sit-ups. I'm not going to treat you if you aren't interested in living.
Good speech.
Got it under control. Isn't it funny? It's a cake. Got it under control. And got it under control.
You okay, honey?
I just got up too fast.
So, welcome to our new house member, Alan.
Hi.
Oh my God.
How do you do it? Eat, I mean.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm really fucking hungry.
Well, you look like a ghost.
I feel kind of angry. It's my life, too. I don't get to have a sister.
I just don't see the point. People say they love you.
But what they mean is they love how loving you makes them feel about themselves.
I don't even know where to start with that. There's all kinds of...
The way that you're going, one day you won't wake up.
I can't stop.
Every time you hear that voice, I want you to tell it to fuck off. Fuck off, boys! Somebody tell me why we're here.
Because we're alive.
Very good.
Some of them actually seem like they're doing okay. Like they might get lives and be semi-interesting people.
Did you just say something optimistic?
I did say semi.
Bulimia nervosa is an eating disorder characterized by a recurring cycle of binging and purging. People with bulimia often eat large amounts of food in a short period of time, a binge, feeling out of control while doing so, and then try to undo it through behaviors like vomiting, using laxatives, fasting, or exercising excessively, the purge. This cycle can be physically and emotionally exhausting, and it's often kept secret because of shame or guilt. Bulimia isn't just about food, it's about emotions, self-image, and control. People who struggle with bulimia often feel trapped between conflicting pressures, the intense desire to be thin and the natural human urge to eat. Binging can become a temporary escape from stress or painful emotions, while purging can bring a false sense of relief or reset. But this relief doesn't last. It's followed by guilt, self-blame, and fear, which often trigger the next binge, continuing the dangerous cycle. Although someone with bulimia may appear to have a normal body weight, the disorder can cause serious health problems, including damage to the throat, teeth, and gums from repeated vomiting, dehydration and electrolyte imbalances, which can lead to heart problems, digestive issues and intestinal damage, fatigue, dizziness, and mood changes, irregular heartbeat, and, in severe cases, cardiac arrest. Recovery is absolutely possible, but it often requires courage, support, and professional help. Treatment usually includes therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps break the binge-purge cycle, nutritional counseling to restore healthy eating patterns, support groups, and medical monitoring to address both emotional and physical health. The goal is not just to stop the behaviors, but to heal the underlying emotional pain and rebuild a positive, compassionate relationship with food and body image.
So there's many reasons that eating disorders exist in the first place. First, let's talk about social pressure. Here we're looking at how so many of us get caught up with how others think of us, and because of that, there's that unrealistic standard that the expectation like that's been thrown up at us from media. Uh, it's not as bad as it used to be. Once upon a time, you wouldn't see a plus size person in magazines or such, and thankfully times have changed. Yet, body dissatisfaction is still present and prevalent. And particularly what we're not looking at is the fact that there's body dissatisfaction in men just as it is in women. So that's something we have to be considerate of. Then, of course, social media is a big risk factor, and it's going to impact one's eating behaviors, particularly for younger women. Women that compare themselves to others on social media tend to have, uh, larger or greater uh, sense of body dissatisfaction. So when we're talking about eating disorders, it's mainly here in the United States. It's not so much in Eastern countries or uh, those areas. It's mostly Western. Okay, the more industrialized we are, the more petty we get. Is really because we start thinking about what everybody else should be looking like and how they anticipate and expect you to look, and then we feed into that propaganda. You also have genetics as well as some brain disturbances that would be regulating hunger and how we are satisfied, and it gets skewed so your body sometimes don't realize it's not hungry. It's just always feeling hungry and never feeling happy with that or content with how much food you ate. You keep thinking you need more. So that's something else you have to take into consideration. But these are just some causal factors that we have to consider. Now, I'm going to stop here, okay? We'll pick up again. Another video lecture will be ready for you on Monday, continuing on with motivation and emotion. This is actually a very long presentation. There's like over 40 something slides altogether. No, there's more than that. I think it was actually closer to 60. So either way, we've gotten through 2 modules, but we have a few more modules to go. And again, have a great weekend. Be safe. And I will see you next Wednesday. On that note, take care.